My name is Eliana. Welcome. So today, as promised, I'm following up on what I spoke about last evening, and I was speaking about what righteous men look for, right? And so in this video, I wanted to speak about the power of respecting a righteous man because there was more that I wanted to share. So I was like, I'll save it for the Sabbath conversation. So we're going to just jump right on in. And, if you're coming in, feel free to leave a comment. Well, you're probably not going to see this anyway, but since you're not here. But firstly, I just want to jump into she has to realize or recognize a godly man. She has to be able to understand a man and the way that Yah created him. So I spoke about that in the last video, but I'm going to share more. In order to cultivate and develop that characteristic of being able to have that discernment to be able to recognize a righteous man, you have to be a person who already values good character. So you have to already be in that space, or else you're not going to respect or value other people or a man who carries those sort of principles. So I'm just going to share some principles. So we have truthfulness, right? So we have to get really comfortable with being around truthful people in general, but you have to be receptive to just hearing truth. It has to be okay with you because that's just something that you already value. So of course you'll be able to respect that in a man. Also, another principle we're looking for or we already exude in ourselves is honesty. Okay. Integrity. Okay, a person that is able to stand on their square. They're not moved, they're not shaken, by anyone. They know exactly who they are and they stand firm on what is right. So righteousness is another principle. So a person who values doing the right thing within the right context. Also a person who is sincere. So if you value sincerity, a person being genuine, that is also something you're going to look for inside of a man as well. You're also going to be able to, you're going to be able to recognize that in a man, I should say, because these are principles that you already value because you're striving or you already exude those principles. So you're easily able to recognize it in another person. So it's nothing worse than a person who is not sincere, who comes with bad intentions, right? You can't trust a person like that. Who wants to be around someone who is not sincere, right? And I'm not speaking from a place where it's like I have cultivated all of these principles, but I am striving and I do value them. I value them to the point where I want to work on them, and that's important. It's okay if you haven't cultivated these. If you're not totally there yet, it's okay. This is also a part of preparing yourself to be chosen, which I spoke about as well. Also, selflessness. A person who cares about other people and they just do things for people. If you're a person like that, you know the work that it takes or the thinking that it takes to think about another person and figure out what it is that they need. So because you value that, you look for it, it's a part of your world, it's a part of your perspective, how you think, you definitely will have that discernment to be able to recognize a godly man. Okay? So someone who just gives selflessly, gives to people, and you can see it's evident in his work. So it's important to be able to be a person who values these things and have cultivated or working on cultivating these things, which kind of brings me in to the second point, the kind of people who are able to show others respect. So, and I thought it was interesting because I was like, let me look up I know it's hard for certain people to respect other people, and I'm just curious, I wonder why that is, and why is it that what kind of people do show respect? Because I know a lot of times it is based on some trauma, like people who are disrespectful or who are not able to respect other people. A lot of times it's coming from their own hurt and pain and trauma. So I'm just like, so what kind of people do respect other people? And what I found was that secure people, that was one of the things, secure people, they don't need to belittle others to feel important. So those are the type of people who can respect other people. So I was like, interesting. Also, emotionally mature people, I'm like, okay. So they can disagree without becoming disrespectful. I'm like, okay. Humble people, They recognize that everyone has inherent worth. Mm. Mm. So they don't look down on anybody or think that they're better than other people or treat other people less than. They're humble. They know their worth. They don't need to do that. So interesting. So it's like, okay, those are the type of people who respect other people, empathetic people. They consider how their words and actions affect others. That's a given. That's a given. I notice empathetic people are highly respectful of people. They so kind and well, it's another. I was gonna say listening, but it's right here. Good listeners. Yeah, they value another person's perspective and allow them to be heard because they have enough respect to listen. Right, right. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Um, okay, self-disciplined people. They treat others well even when there's nothing to gain. So this kind of connects to what I was speaking about last night. How women sometimes they may perform kindness and to get something. It's like a manipulation sort of thing. And oh, I just lost my train of thought. Okay, do they treat others well even when there's nothing to gain? People with integrity. Yes, right. Because it goes back to the principle of the matter. Like what it goes back to like what you're standing on. Integrity. Like no matter what's going on, no matter what a person is doing, you're able to stand firm on who you are, right? Even when it's like, I'm not doing this to get anything from anybody. This is just actually who I am and what I value and what I stand on. So yeah, so these type of people are able to respect other people, and this is so deep too, and it kind of connects to boundaries too. Like people who respect other people's boundaries, they can respect someone who's standing on their square because they know it's hard. They know it's hard to stand in the midst of maybe chaotic people and stand firm on who you are. So if you are a person who values integrity and you try to do that yourself, and you see someone else trying to do it, you're gonna respect them. You be like, I'm here with you. You're gonna respect what they're doing. You're not going to get offended. You're not going to be like, oh man, this person get on my nerves. You're not going to be irritated. You gonna respect that because you're like, yeah, I feel you. I know how hard that is. Okay, so another trait that's connected to the kind of people who respect others, people who honor commitments. Respect is demonstrated through reliability and keeping their word. Of course, this is a common one. I hear people like I've heard people explain like how it's so irritating when someone flakes on them. Somebody that didn't they promised something but they didn't keep their word. It's very disappointing. It's very disappointing, and a lot of people lose respect for stuff like that. But a person who honors those sort of commitments, um, they are respectful of others. So it's like those who are like-minded recognize others who are like them. So you're like the respect is like automatic. There's no words even have to be exchanged. It's just like I see you. I see you. You're reliable. It's a quiet thing. There are all kind of people that I respect, but I never told them. But in my head, I'm like, yeah, I respect that. Yeah, look at them. So, um, even if they may have other flaws, like they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be perfect. They can do one thing, and I'm just like, whoa. Well, look at there. Wow, they just showed me who they was. You know, despite the problems that they have. So, also grateful people, they're more likely to respect others. So, grateful people, appreciation often leads to treating others with dignity, right? Because it's like, why put your foot on somebody's neck? Why put your foot on somebody else's neck when you can be grateful for what you have? You may not know what another person is going through. So people who are grateful and they stay in that state, they don't disrespect other people because they like, man, I don't know what that person been through to get to where they at. So they get to know the person and find out their story and see like, oh, okay. So you're walking around just respectful of people because you're grateful for what you have. You're not looking at people and be like, oh, I want to just take my anger out on somebody. I want somebody to feel as bad as I feel on the inside. You're not doing that because you're so thankful. You're so grateful. All right, so we have servant hearted leaders. They use influence to uplift rather than dominate. So people who don't dominate, they respect others. They respect others. And many times as women, we have control mechanisms where we try to control the man. Even though he's already serving because he is a leader. So it's like you should never want to get with a righteous man and then try to not sabotage, but try to be a nuisance when it comes to him navigating as a leader, you know. All right, so on the other hand, so I'm going to shift and speak about people who often struggle to show respect. They may be insecure, self centered, entitled, immature, highly prideful, controlling, mentioned that, emotionally reactive, and lacking empathy. I can say based on my experience, I'm like, yeah, yeah, they struggle. And this is why I don't take it personally, and you shouldn't take it personally, you know? So if you do get frustrated, type of person that get frustrated by people not respecting you and stuff like that, it comes from those things. And yeah, I could say every single person who has disrespected me exuded those qualities. Lacking empathy, very emotionally reactive, very controlling, highly prideful, can't humble themselves. And like, you don't have to humble yourself to me or to another person, but humility requires you to pull back. Okay, just pull back. Like, immaturity, right? Immaturity. A lot of immature people may assume something about a person, may assume something about a man based on how they feeling and not based on who that man actually is, which I spoke about in the last video. Entitled, entitled, which is connected to not being a sincere person. Cause you like, I want this and I better have it, I better get this. It's like, come on now. What type of respect is that? But a lot of times women come to men like this. And there's no power in that. There's no feminine power, no divine femininity. There's no, you a great woman when you behave this way. You know, so if we want to prepare ourselves to be chosen, and we want to understand what righteous men look for so that we can be chosen, because we like, man, I'm ready. I need me a righteous man at this point in my life. You know, like if you struggle with any of these qualities, it's going to make it hard for you to respect that man. Okay, so I'm going to transition into catering to how people feel as opposed to honoring values. So this point came to me. This point came to me when it comes to the power of a woman respecting a man, because many times she may be the type of woman who she's objective. Oh, I remember, I have a good example. I remember somebody telling me one time, they was like, oh, my children, they don't want nothing to do with me. I'm sick. They don't want nothing to do with me. They trying to sell my house. They was like, that's not right, right? And I did immediately respond. I was like, because I'm thinking about all the context. I'm like, I don't know the situation. I don't know if that parent was a jerk to the children. So I'm just kind of like, I didn't respond. And I was like, well, you know, and he cut me off and he was like, yeah, it's wrong. Yeah, that's wrong. I was just like, they can probably get an idea why they don't want to have anything to do with you, you know. Um, but that was just an example of how like I don't cater to how someone is feeling in the moment. Like if they're saying like, "Oh man, I feel so bad," and this happened to me, I don't immediately jump in. I was like, I have to listen more. I have to like hear the story. I have to hear what happened. What was the real situation? Because I don't know if that person is coming as a victim. So many times, a woman who values like truth and values principle over how people feel or trying to make other people feel well, she can be labeled as someone who doesn't show compassion, who's a goody two shoe, who doesn't like, you know, women or don't like, she's not sisterly or whatever because she doesn't come off that way. And a feminine woman is warm, But this is different. This is women who just cater to the tomfoolery, and because they don't have, they may lack wisdom and lack discernment. And so I wouldn't say lack wisdom, because we all have wisdom, but it just depends on the source of your wisdom. Did you get it from righteous experiences, or did you get it from wicked experiences and living in sin? So it's like, on that note. So I wanted to read Titus 2. Titus 2:1. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine. So a woman is supposed to speak things which are of sound doctrine. A woman of Yah, speaking to the woman of Yah. We're supposed to speak things which are of sound doctrine. That's what Yah told us we're supposed to do. Not cater to nobody. Nowhere in there does it say speak things which are based on how someone is feeling, and try to feel that with them. I'm just giving an example. Like, it doesn't, my point is that it doesn't mention feeling. It says, yeah, like, speak things which are of sound doctrine. So that becomes the forefront of anything when we're speaking and giving advice and giving wisdom to other people. And in the context of Titus 2 is speaking to men and women and what their role should be, right? To the younger women. So I'm going to read Titus 2:4. It says that they may teach the young woman to be sober. The word sober there, right? So we're not just like letting that young sister just share whatever that doesn't make sense. Or she's speaking based on her feelings and how she feels. We're going to come with the sound doctrine, like, all right, let's get to the bottom of this. What's really going on? And you're going to start speaking some truth to that sister based on sound doctrine, based on reality. Because when you think about teaching a young woman to be sober, you're teaching her to be rooted in reality. Don't fall into no illusion. Your life is serious, and I spoke about accountability in the segment last evening, right? So you're going to always be trying to hold that woman accountable. If she comes to you with an issue. All right, Titus 2:5, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of Yah be not blasphemed. This is a commandment. Yah told us as women that we're to be discreet, that we're to teach young women to be discreet, right? Don't be telling your business to people. And a lot of women do this. They tell their business, oh, he was doing this, he was doing. How many women do that? No. Those women who are striving towards righteousness and want a righteous man, we have to cultivate these qualities inside of ourselves. So when the Most High Yah gives us a commandment and say, this is what you tell younger sisters, if you're going to give any advice, this is what you tell them. To be discreet, chaste, keepers at home. Keepers at home, it means take care of your household. Build it up. Don't destroy it. Be good. Obedient to your own husbands. Don't be listening to a whole bunch of different men. Listen to your own husband. You shouldn't be listening to a whole bunch of different men. This is what Yah is saying, has told us, right? To love their husbands. Oh, wrong one. Obedient to their own husbands, that the word of Yah be not blasphemed. So if Yah is saying do these things so that my word be not blasphemed, and I think someone else is speaking here. So I don't think it's Yah actually speaking, just to kind of give some context, but someone is sharing, like, this is what people are like the elders in particular are supposed to teach younger men and women, and speaking to men and speaking to women. Okay, so Titus 2:5, I'm read it again. To be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of Yah be not blasphemed. So anyone who is not doing this, they are dishonoring the Creator. They are dishonoring any sort of righteousness or holiness. So when I see sisters who say that they are a woman of God and they're not obedient to their own husbands. Maybe they're listening to pastor instead of listening to husband. Maybe their husband don't even go to church, but they're going to church. So you're not being a keeper at home and listening to what your husband's saying, but you're going out and listening to a preacher while your husband's at home. Why is your husband at home? Once you ask him why he's not coming, and whatever he say, you need to be following that, because that's the man that you chose. And I'm being a little bit more like truthful and sober in this video, and just speaking truth. And as women, we have to be comfortable with the truth, you know. And I spoke about that in the video I did last night as well. So yeah, we don't want to dishonor Yah. We don't want to dishonor Yah. So let's be sober and let's not live in delusion. Okay. Let's value truth over making people feel good. You know, because a lot of times what we perceive as compassion or kindness is not really that. A person who will tell you the truth is more kind, more loving, and more compassionate than someone stroking somebody else's ego and making them think that what they're doing is all good. But in the back of their mind, they may know what that person is not doing, or like there's holes in that person's story, or what they're doing is not right, or not what they're saying is not making any sense. But they'll still like cater to that person's ego. And like, no, you know, we have to live out these values, right? And this strengthens our discernment, you know, to be able to recognize a righteous man. All right. And we have to, when we respect truth, then we are able to respect the man. You have to fall in love with these things. You have to fall in love with these principles. All right. So, last point. Many women say they want a man who's vulnerable. Right? And I mentioned Aretha Franklin, the song Respect. And I didn't know that she actually did a response to the video that I did last night, and he mentioned Otis Redding was originally like had a song called Respect, and that's where Aretha Franklin got it from. And I went and listened to that song, and I'm just like, and I listened to what he said about it, and I was just like, so she took what he was saying that was stemming from righteousness. He was being vulnerable in what he was sharing, and she took that and just flipped it. Like, no, you can't have that vulnerability. I'm gonna take it for myself and make this my story. You know, so I'm gonna just like go through like some of the lyrics, because we say we want a man to be vulnerable, but this man was vulnerable, and this is how another woman responded to his song. So he was saying, okay, what you want, baby, I got it. What you need, you know, I'm gonna get it. All I'm asking is for a little respect when I come home. Like, that's so sweet. I mean that's kind of, he's saying like, what you want, you know, I got it. I'm gonna get it for you, whatever you need. But when I come home, all I'm asking is for some respect. He's being vulnerable and sharing what it is that he needs, right? And then he says, let's see. He said, I ain't gonna do you wrong while you're gone. Ain't gonna do you wrong because I don't wanna. But then in her song, it seems like she's speaking about a man who was out in the streets, maybe being unfaithful. Because she says in one of her lines, she says, I ain't gonna do you wrong, big boy. She said, even if you stay out all night long. Oh, I ain't lying, because all I'm asking is for a little respect when you get home. So she made it about that. And that wasn't even what he was talking about. And I'm sure she's not responding directly to him, but you took a man's vulnerability and you created a song painting a man in a bad light. And her song was more popular, which goes to show, which I spoke about how getting praise and getting more recognition from the world, how that is against Yah, because Yah said you should be looking to please me, not the world. But since a lot of people is gravitating towards that song, that tells me that, okay, that's worldly. That's worldly. And that, nah, I'm not going to fall into that trap or even listen to that. Because, nah, you're trying to steer those who are righteous off the path. So I do think that was purposeful. So going back to what he said, I ain't gonna do you wrong while you're gone. I ain't gonna do you wrong because I don't wanna. All I'm asking is, this is Otis, all I'm asking is for a little respect when I come home. I'm about to give you all my money. And all I'm asking in return is to give me my propers when I get home. When I get home. That's not too much to ask. That is not too much to ask. And then she says, oh, your kisses are sweeter than honey. And guess what? So is my money. You see? You see? She said, all I want you to do for me is give it to me when you get home. She said, yeah, baby, whip it to me when you get home. So she said, your kisses are sweeter than honey, but guess what? So is my money. All I want you to do for me is give it to me when you get home. So entitled. I just shared that's an aspect of people who don't show respect to other people. Entitled, she's entitled to that money, and he's saying like, I give you my money. I'm about to give you all. He said all my money too. I'm about to give you all my money. But she's demanding it, and in the song that she wrote, she's demanding it. And this is teaching. A lot of women love this song, and it's teaching women like, this is how you respect a man. This is how you speak to a man, I should say. This is not how you speak to man. This is not sound doctrine. This is not coming from sound doctrine. This is coming from emotion and disrespect. There's no respect in these lyrics. But you're teaching women like it's okay to behave this way. So you're teaching her to blaspheme against the word of Yah. You see how like that unrighteousness just kind of gets woven into what's happening? You have to have a discernment and have a character to know like, I'm not gonna listen to what that woman's saying. I'm not gonna listen to the lyrics of that song. She want me to blaspheme against Yah. I'm not doing that. I am not doing that. I'm not doing that against, especially if you're covered. I'm not doing that against my husband or my covering. He looks after my soul. There's a scripture that speaks about that, and I shared it. He looks after my soul. No, I'm not going to talk to him. I would not dare talk to him like this. Not because I'm insecure. A person who has principles, like I read, they're not insecure. The one who doesn't show respect is the one who's actually insecure. See how they flipped it? See how they flipped it? But in order for us to have discernment, we have to value principle, not what people are saying based on emotion. That's not real, and it's not sober-minded. It's not real. It's not rooted in truth. It's not rooted in sound doctrine. So I think that's it for those lyrics. I about had enough of them. I just got to get worked up, because it's just like there's not enough women speaking. Well, of course, it's not going to be a lot of women, because there's only a small few of us who know the truth. The Creator never said the whole world was going to be honoring His word and honoring His truth, and He was only speaking to His people anyway. So we have to stand on integrity and on principle and stand rooted in our culture and sound doctrine and what the word says. And our husbands and coverings and the righteous men who are in our lives, they are washing us with the word. Then we listen, because we know that is how we get sanctified and holy. That's how Yah organized it. That's the order that Yah, put everything into. Like, this is how I'm going to sanctify you. This is how I'm going to get you holy. I'm going to do it by this man, he's going to be the, because Yah is spiritual. You can't feel or see like God physically. So, the creator created a physical man where you can get that practical application of like that washing, like it makes sense to me. So when people say like, Jesus is my husband, I'm just like, that is so ridiculous. That is so ridiculous because the creator didn't, um if that's the case, then you would be like, you would have been pulled from that spirit. You would just be a spirit. You wouldn't be like a physical person. It's like, Yah made Eve from Adam. So he made like physical humans. So, and he didn't create like, so you weren't supposed to have an invisible man. That don't even make it, you see what I'm saying? Like, you see what I'm saying? Some of this stuff don't make any logical sense. Which sometimes, it just doesn't. So we have to really stand firm in sound doctrine, things that make sense, and stay rooted in reality. All right. So the power of a woman's respect keeps households together, keeps your home together. You would definitely be chosen. You would definitely be able to get you a man, a righteous man. Definitely be able to. No matter what you've gone through in life, you may have made some mistakes, but if you like are sincere about honoring these principles and you're trying to become it, you're gonna get you someone. You're gonna get you someone. And if you're having a hard time and they're just look and reevaluate, like, am I really emotionally mature? Am I really humble? Am I really empathetic towards people? Am I really self-disciplined? Am I a good listener? Do I honor my commitments? Am I a grateful person? Just start asking yourself those questions and see like, okay, these could be the reasons why I haven't attracted a man to me yet. Because as women, we're the ones who pull and attract those righteous coverings into our lives. So there's so much that I can say still, just even on that vulnerability piece, like a man was vulnerable. I'm talking about the Otis Redding song. A man was vulnerable. He shared, and it got flipped into something else. So if you were speaking to a friend and you told them like, "Hey, like it really hurts me that you ignore like my text messages," let's say, and that person flips it on you and say, "Well, it really hurts me that you think I don't care about you because I don't respond to your messages." Let's say they flip like that. Maybe you should be more secure as a person, like, and know that I don't mean any harm, or you shouldn't be hurt by that, and or I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not. That's not. I didn't. That's nothing. There's nothing wrong about what I did. They say they flip it on you. Would you continue talking to that person? No, you would not. You wouldn't continue talking to that person. You'd be like, you know what? This person has no respect. Kudos. I'm gone. That's what you do. So when women say like, man, I like a vulnerable man, and you're not safe enough to be vulnerable with. If you're not respectful towards masculine energy, you are not safe enough for a man to be vulnerable with you. It's not safe. Nobody wants to be vulnerable and lay their heart out and for someone to respond in a disrespectful sort of way. So when you have a righteous covering and a righteous man, you being respectful, you'll automatically have that vulnerability that you're speaking about. And you'll have like all the righteous qualities that you want in a man, you want a good man, you'll have that because you're a good woman. So you're going to attract a good man because you're a good woman. So that's just nature. That's just the laws of nature. I want to say the law of vibration, but I could be wrong there. So I don't want to misspeak. But for those who are gonna, watch this live, I will that it was helpful, and I didn't say these things to beat anyone down or anything like that. I just really, really want, women who have the same God as I do, Yahuwah Elohim, El Elyon, who is trying to return back to the culture of their ancestors who lived in Israel, who lived by those laws, statutes, and commandments, who were Yah's people. Those women who are trying to return back to that state, I really want to help them like have those revelations and have those breakthroughs. Like, oh, okay, like I just really want to have more sisters who return to their rightful way of thinking. We were created in the likeness of Yah, man and woman. So we have to, in order to be whole and put respect back on Yah's name, his holy name, hallowed be thy name, we have to become whole, because hallow means whole, healed, and complete. So we have to embody these principles as women. We have to embody them, because that's how Yah created us. So if Yah created us a certain way, then we have to function according to that design, And so my videos are to help those sisters come back to being truly feminine, All right. So my social media handle is at Eliana Anu for those who want to follow me on social media. I go live every Sabbath at 12 for these Sabbath conversations, and definitely click the subscribe button and notification bell for just weekly videos that I post. And just stay tuned, join the conversation. Feel free to join the next live. If you have questions, utilize the comment section. If you have a question, I will do a video on it if you want me to. If you want me to speak about a certain topic that, like, I want to know about this, I'm wondering about this, feel free to share it. I will share on it. This was a pleasure. All right, Shabbat Shalom. Enjoy the rest of your Sabbath. Peace.